So, welcome to episode 1 of Grand Theft Auto Character Examination. Today, we're going to be examining, yes, Lamar Davis. Lamar Davis would be born sometime in 1988, although the GTA Wiki claims 1977, or 1987. It claims 1977, but that is clearly a little bit more false, because Lamar's overall attitude, and given he grew up around Franklin, who was obviously in his mid 20s in GTA 5 story mode. He basically Lamar would be considered what you'd call a crazy guy. Not Trevor crazy. But he'd always have he had spirit. Let's just say that. Always never sometimes not thinking things out and always making Franklin save him. He would grow up in this house right here and a couple houses down from Franklin. And he would join the Chamberlain Hills gangsters at an unknown time, the families, but he would soon contact Franklin about making the Forum Drive families, where he would grow up in his early childhood. In 2013, him and his buddy Franklin would go with his dog Chop to try to kidnap OG Bala named D. But it would fail once Franklin tried to point out that Lamar shouldn't call for the ransom on his cell phone because the cops could track it. He has to throw his phone out the window, causing this kidnapping scheme to fail. And then, just a couple days later, Stretch gets out of jail and they go down to the recycling plant and to meet D, which Franklin clearly sees through, but Lamar, blinded by believing Stretch right now, would be tricked into this drug deal where the ballers would try to ambush and all three would escape. Then a little bit later, in the mission Lamar would be contacted by in the mission Hood Safari. Lamar would be talking to Franklin about some Stretch set up with the ballers, and him and Franklin's new friend Trevor would go over to Grove Street, and upon Trevor noticing that the other side of the crack was drywall, it would lead into an all-out war on Grove Street, leading down to the escape. Then the final mission where Lamar can really be noble. He was first seen Franklin and Lamar, but these are his big missions. Lamar down. So, once again, he believes Stretch, and he met the ballers up at a lab at the old log works where weed was being produced, and he almost dies, but thankfully Franklin, Trevor, and Michael save him. We wouldn't see him again much. He would also appear on the final real mission of the game, Death Wish, letting Franklin know that the FIB was there. But his next big appearance would be in Grand Theft Auto Online, where he'd contact the player to see if they could help him with a little bit of a turf war. He'd try to set up a turf war with the Vagos and the Ballas, which would anger Davis neighborhood members like Vernon and Chamberlain Hills members like Gerald. He would try to get a couple cars to make Vernon happy, but that would fail, and but then he busted G out of prison, even though it was his fault originally. He would put a hit on the Vagos funeral, of a Vagos member, and basically would be the leader of a bunch of these new. And since Franklin would fall back from the gang lifestyle, Lamar would hold the Forum Drive families on his back, taking out ballers, and proving he was one of the best gang leaders in Los Santos. He would make his next appearance in the contract, where he'd be a little bit older at the age of 34, and he would make it focus on his weed brand, which can now be found at the end of Chamberlain Hills. And if the player does a short trip, they can beat him by the effects, and he will. Plus, Lamar would play a supporting role. Lamar Davis, feared Forum Drive families member. The man himself, the roasting guy. This has been my first episode of Grand Theft Auto Analysis. I thought it'd be cool to do Lamar Davis. We're gonna do all the buddy characters first, and we're gonna go back to the OG kids, the original characters. Then we might do the main characters. But yes, next episode is Ron. Yes. Well, actually, it's Jimmy as Santa next time. But still, everyone, peace and love.